Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 125.
Damn.
Welcome. Is this? We got one more in January, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, we do. Yes.
We have 31st. We can come together and prepare for pain on that day.
Oh,
exactly.
We will send off January.
Can we not just keep it in January for longer before the February madness just ensues?
Just move
no,
some
I want
February.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
I want February.
I am
I'm
very
also
excited about
terrified.
February.
I'm scared, but so happy.
It's a great problem to have, right?
It is a
To
great
be so
problem.
excited about all the stuff that's coming, because I know some people are only interested in maybe one game or something like that, or they're not planning on trying to, open up several.
Play everything.
Yeah. It's exciting to see what's gonna fall. Like what's getting pushed out that just there's no time for. And then you're gonna come back to it later.
Well, I'm glad Sifu moved earlier, at least. That I'm glad of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Although it's now moved into Lost Ark week.
It has.
Really annoying for me.
Yes.
So I have like a day to play Sifu, and then I'm going to play Lost Ark, and then I'm like, and that's going to be like a full-on grind for that week. So
do you guys focus on one game at a time? Do you ever play like two games at a time, like in your spare time? Like you'll have two games kind of going at a time.
Like for me, rarely. Like if I'm playing, like if I'm not talking about content creation, if I was playing on my own, like I would just do. Normally, I'd do one unless it was like one of those huge games, like an Assassin's Creed, like a Valhalla. I might do some exploring for a little bit and then maybe juggle like a small indie title, but I wouldn't do like an Elden Ring and a Horizon at the same time.
Oh yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah. Like I think I play League of Legends pretty much every day, and then I'm playing like Monster Hunter on PC at the moment. Like here and there in my spare time, just trying to catch up. So I guess that's technically too.
Yeah.
I play Street Fighter
no.
kind of like all the time. Like there's always time for like a couple of rounds of Street Fighter, but that's not the same. I guess that's probably more like your League of Legends, right? It's like there's kind of always time for a League of Legends match.
You're not like
your main game.
Yeah, you're not working towards any like completing a game or something or grinding for a thing. You're just hopping in a match.
Or progressing storyline type of stuff. I agree with you. If there's two games that are like, say, Elden Ring or Horizon, then I'm usually picking one or the other. But other kind of maintenance type of games, like actually Destiny falls along those lines when you're not doing any kind of main content, when you're just kind of doing maintenance. Like it's the same type of thing. You jump in for a game or two.
It does now. Destiny used to be all consuming for me. Like there was about 3 years where it was pretty much the only game I was playing. Like I was just solely playing that game. Like it was like I missed like a ton of games in that time that were amazing. I just like completely missed them because I was only playing Destiny.
That's why I ended up restarting Witcher 3 like 3 times because it was Taken King. I think it had come out and I was completely missed Witcher 3. Initially,
Witcher 3 is what broke me of that habit. It's like I played Witcher 3 and I was like, what else have I been missing? Because this was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I almost missed the greatest game of all time.
I am actually really glad that like that whole, I mean, like obviously some of those games do still exist, but the whole thing, like that time when Destiny came out and then everyone's doing like looter shooters and we were trying to juggle like Destiny and Division and Anthem and stuff, like that just got so exhausting. Like I'm glad that kind of focus on let's make a looter shooter has somewhat leveled out, because I miss the days of like I just want to complete my games, I want to put them on the shelf, and I want to be like I don't have to play like Elden Ring in parallel with like Horizon for the rest of my life. Like
exactly. And that's kind of that's what it was for a long time. It wasn't just like, there's a story game coming out that you can complete in like 15 hours. It was, here's another 400-hour minimum game.
When everyone's trailer is like, you can keep playing this like forever, we're going to continue to update it. I'm just like, yes, but also please no.
Even like RPGs though can be like, I played Tales of Arise, and then for Retro Slot we picked Phantasy Star for the Master System. I was like, I don't think I can start Phantasy Star until I finish Tales of Arise.
No.
Like, I can't have two RPGs going at the same time.
Yep.
So I had to, I was almost like rushing through the end of Tales of Arise so I could begin to play Phantasy Star.
See, I think that's the rule that you actually, we all kind of are understanding, is that you can't have two of the same game in rotation at any given time, right?
It's like similar genres?
Yeah, you can't have two Destinies at the same time, realistically.
No.
Right? Like, it's got to be, there's your Destiny, there's your PvP experience, your League of Legends or something like that, and then this is that RPG you're chipping away at it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys to picture a world where Bungie was unable to leave Activision's grasp and then just got bought back by Microsoft.
Right. What a crazy world that'd be.
That would have been hilarious.
Can you imagine? Man. Oh, we were so close to that. Imagine having Master Chief and Destiny under the same studio again, or the same owner again.
It's funny because I saw a lot of people saying that they recently left Microsoft to go to a studio, and then they're right back. Like 2 weeks later. Wow. 2 weeks. It's some like. Oh.
I try to get out, but they just pull me back in.
Keep pulling me back in.
Damn you, Clippy, and your assisted level word thing.
So I feel like we got to talk about the Activision or the Microsoft purchase of Activision. But imagine, like, from the outside looking in, it just feels like, you know, that place just seemed to be so toxic from everything we've heard over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
That for me, I was just thinking the employees must be relieved, although somewhat nervous, because there's got to be a reorg eventually, right? When this does finalize, if it does finalize, like, you got to be nervous about that. But like that the toxicity that we're hearing about from the outside. But yeah, I mean, if you just left Microsoft and now you're back in, I can see that being a bit of a weird thing.
Especially imagine if like you left your like, because you know when you're in Microsoft and you have like the global email groups and stuff like through the studios. Imagine if you left your leaving email. You're like, hey guys, been great working with you. Moving on to new things. And then
fuck you, your messenger. Fuck you. Fuck you.
And then literally 2 weeks later, you're back on like internal messenger, like their equivalent of Slack, and it's like, yeah, about that. Yeah. Can I have my coffee mug back?
Is it Microsoft Teams or something that they're always trying to get people to use? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh dear.
You just couldn't stand Phil Spencer. Like he just drove you nuts.
And then you're back 2 weeks later.
So what did you guys think? Like, first impressions when you heard the news that Activision just got bought by Microsoft. What did you think?
I didn't really know what to think for a little bit, to be honest, because I was like, we're like, you know, all of us have had this feeling of the stuff at Blizzard is super toxic and we don't like that. And like, they need to have a major shakeup of getting rid of people. So I was like, you know, Phil, I genuinely think is a good dude. And I think he's a good leader as well. But man, taking on whatever's going on there is a little scary. Yeah. And then
he said on Twitter too, like, they report to me now. I am the head of this. So like he is taking this on head on.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah. And it was a feeling of like kind of happy that maybe Microsoft can salvage this, you know, legendary company and maybe make it become more of what it was before. But also, Microsoft, you got a lot of studios there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a little scary. You got a lot of stuff.
3 of them working on Call of Duty.
Maybe Phil just have like a little like golden gauntlet in his room. Is he collecting stones? He's not going to tell us about. Is he waiting until he can just be like, "See you later, Sony"?
He did. He tweeted that. Let me get the exact tweet. I keep talking because I thought his tweet was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It was funny. Like in the interim, like you were saying, like, what did you think? Like, I thought at first I thought it was a troll because I literally was like $70 billion, and I was like,
yeah,
70 billion.
And the thing is, it was like 67.3 or something. Yeah, it's like it's weird because you expect it when they're kind of talking about buying up like indie studios. Who obviously they want to give more budget to, or like, you know, when Bethesda. I mean, Bethesda was kind of a surprise, but like, you know, you can kind of sort of picture it. But I guess Activision has always been one of those like huge names where it's like, you wouldn't expect someone to buy EA, for example, or you wouldn't expect someone to buy Ubisoft. It's like one of those ones. I was just like,
Yeah.
What the hell?
Activision buys studios, not the other way around. Right?
Yeah, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Microsoft
Did
is
you
just
hear
full of
that,
Apex Predator.
Yeah.
They were clearly shopping around Activision was for a buyout because they talked to Meta, formerly known as Facebook. They also talked to Amazon. Can you imagine if Facebook owned Activision? All your classic Activision franchises were now owned by a robot.
Crash Bandicoot is in
But I also feel
the
like
metaverse.
Facebook. I also feel like Facebook wouldn't go and clean up Activision. It would just become even worse in the metaverse.
Oh yeah,
it would become
be a
the
lot
metaverse
worse.
would be like
they'd
the
give them
cesspool verse.
Yeah, they'd give them an attaboy. Be like, good job, keep doing what you're doing.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to think about. It's tough to comprehend all the parameters and what it shakes up in the industry. There's also all the talk of exclusivity, whether or not PlayStation's going to get cut on certain things, and like, nobody knows.
Can I read that tweet real quick
Yeah.
that he said about that?
Definitely.
Sure.
This is Phil Spencer, the head of the Xbox division or the Microsoft Games division, said, had good calls with Sony this week with Sony leaders. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship.
Good guy, Phil.
So on the surface, that seems to say
cordial.
Call of Duty will stay on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But if you read a little deeper into it, the word existing...
Yeah, honor existing contracts.
Like, we know that Activision was in the habit of making like these long-term contracts, like for exclusivity, like Destiny weapons came out first on PlayStation. Call of Duty levels or DLC packs used to come out like a month beforehand on Xbox 360. So it may be that there's a long-standing relationship or a contract. So it may be years before that even runs out. We don't know about it.
Wasn't it 2 years ago or something when Activision announced the PlayStation deal, right? Like they had switched everything over to PlayStation from Microsoft. So I'm assuming that's got to be at least a 5 to 8 year contract if they're going to sign something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that Phil Spencer sees Sony as much as competition as they do as something like Google or Facebook or like something like that. Like Microsoft is a services company, right? They make the Xbox, they do video games, but what their real business is trying to get people into services and subscriptions. And that's what Game Pass is all about. And I think that's what this acquisition is all about, right? Is like making the Game Pass that much more valuable. So
I actually hadn't fully comprehended all of the Activision titles going on Game Pass.
Yep. Imagine this is now like get Game Pass and essentially get every game ever. That's what it's turning into. It's getting crazy.
It's getting really hard for people to make the argument against Game Pass at this point with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of scary too on that side of it. This Game Pass is going to be this all-consuming thing that kind of, it's the new paradigm for gaming, which I'm not altogether comfortable with. Game Pass is a cool thing. Game Pass is a cool thing when it's this side thing that I have on my Xbox, but I can also buy games for Switch. I can also buy games for PlayStation, and own those games forever. But Game Pass scares me because games go in and out of Game Pass, so they're not necessarily part of my collection, right?
Well, I mean, at that point, you'd buy it though. Like Game Pass doesn't mean that you can't buy the game. It just means it's
not
an
now.
option. Oh, I don't think they would do that because that's a segment of the market. That's a hardcore segment. That'd be throwing away money, saying like you can't own the game ever. Like it's just you have to wait for a digital service like that. I don't think they would do that because also, what would be the answer then to have multi-platform games but still have the Game Pass option? You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to sell the title as well. So you have a Switch version, but if you want on Game Pass, you can play it on Game Pass too.
Wait a minute. Do you think the Activision games are going to appear on Switch and PlayStation 5?
I think some of them will. I think
the majority of them won't.
Yeah.
I think so. I've heard a lot of comments about like, well, obviously they bought all these studios so to make exclusivity because that's where the money's at. But I think with Microsoft just saying that, look at our roster of games and it being every game on Game Pass is gonna make them $1 bajillion.
Yeah,
for sure. The Game Pass is already making them a lot of money. You know, it's kind of insane the number of subscribers and all that, and so it's clearly working.
What do they have? 25 million people?
Yeah, something to that degree. And I mean, Netflix has paved the way to showing that a subscription service for content delivery can work and become very profitable after a certain point. They obviously put billions of dollars in that, but Microsoft is in that position to be able to do it, and it seems to be working. I don't think that they would shrug off a part of the market of being able to own the titles, because Natada in chat said that you get a discount with Game Pass to purchase games as well. So that I definitely think there's a market right there that really enjoys the Game Pass experience, but then also wants to go ahead and own the title for future stuff, or you know. So I don't think that's going away, personally.
We'll see. I mean,
we will indeed.
There's a lot of instances, like if you buy the Xbox Series version of games, that the Xbox Series version of the game isn't there. You have to connect to the internet to download it. Like, it's not on the disc. So they've already kind of started moving us toward that. You have to be online with an Xbox future.
Right. I feel like we've been there for a while, though, especially with a lot of these games that are getting played.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, it's definitely probably the direction they're trying to go generally, but I do think that it would be really weird to do like a hard, like, if you're not online you can't do this stuff, because there's just people out there that just have like doo-doo internet connections and stuff. I mean, I know a lot of things you have to download massive updates and you kind of have no choice, but I do still think there'll be it'll probably just be like that kind of thing where they'll try and push it as their preferred method, like, oh, you should do this, but I think the baseline would still remain.
And this is the company that put Cuphead and Ori on the Switch, right? Like, first party titles they actually put on a competing platform.
Yeah. I don't think Microsoft cares so much on the exclusivity front as like Watts was saying, we have every game, and if you subscribe to our subscription service, like, how could you not want to have access to all these titles for $10 a month or something like that? You know, like,
right?
Yeah, it's becoming such a value. It's crazy, and they've already shown that they don't care whether or not you play it on a Series X or your computer. Well, I mean, it is Microsoft, so they own Windows, but yeah.
Crazy
times.
You
think there's a possibility of putting Game Pass on the Switch or the PlayStation?
It's a good question. I don't think the PlayStation ever. The Switch, maybe?
If there was only on PlayStation when they announced that they've purchased Sony. Microsoft's like, for $500 billion, we now own Sony. We're now making their PlayStations green. and welcome to the PlayStation Series X.
Oh man, well, this was definitely a shock for sure. It also makes me excited to potentially play the new Diablo when it comes out.
Right, guilt free.
That would
put
be
money
nice.
in Bobby Kotick's pocket.
I was like, I haven't touched Diablo 2. I've like sworn off all Activision games, and now I'm like, well, maybe I could.
Have they announced yet if like what's happening to Bobby? Is he being kicked out?
He's
there was a lot of like there was a lot of weird stuff around it, right? Because there wasn't anything saying yes or no that he's getting kicked out. And then there was a news cycle that was happening saying that, well, Phil's going to be CEO. He's going to be the guy at the top. So I think Bobby will probably end up leaving with $8 billion trillion.
Yeah, I thought I saw something.
He's already super rich. He's about to get stupid rich.
Yeah, some sort of golden parachute, like $260 million for leaving, basically. But I don't know what's confirmed or true at this point.
Well, what's 5% at $80 million? Because he owns 5% of the stock.
Stock. You get a lot of money from the stocks.
Yeah, I think it's in addition to the stock. It's like a CEO payout. Yeah,
like I'd rather pay him to get out than have him around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm torn on this. Like, I'm a little afraid, like, of
Same.
like anti-competition kind of stuff. I'm sure that like investigators will be all over this thing. It's going to take a while. It's not a done deal, right? It's going to take a while to, for it all to go through. Yeah, I mean they were saying like a year and a half for Bethesda too, but that happened really fast. Like, I think it took 6 months for that deal to get finalized, so maybe faster than 2023.
Or
Or
talking about like
investigators
antitrust
might give
type
them
of
a hard
stuff?
time, like they're giving Nvidia an ARM. You know, like they're just not letting that deal go through.
Yeah. Well, Nvidia and ARM, I think, that's a considerably larger market than like Activision. You know, 70 billion is a lot, but then you look at hardware sales and chip manufacturing, all that, and then you're talking like, oh, this is real, like global money. You know.
Yeah.
So I hear you on like the antitrust level, but
yeah,
there's still a lot of studios out there for it to be considered like, oh,
sure.
now there's just one or two companies owning everything in there, you know?
All right. So what do you think Sony should respond to this? Do you think they should go out, like, if you imagine you're Joe Sony
should buy Xbox, and Xbox shouldn't tell Microsoft.
Who's Sony gonna buy to answer?
Do you think
call.
they should, or do you think it'd be
Ubisoft are blue?
Ubisoft?
Maybe. Ubisoft are blue, so you know maybe they'll try and they'll take that, try and clean them up. But I don't know. It's a weird one because obviously like Sony are very. I mean, obviously that would give them more exclusives and stuff. But like Sony are always, they're very sort of big on their first party stuff, right? So I wonder whether they're just gonna just try and double down and be like, well, look, you can keep buying all these studios, but like, do you have our first party? I'm not sure really. Don't know whether.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
I have no idea. I honestly don't know what to think about this. All of it. I'm still just a little like putting that into perspective. I think is really hard of what it means for them to own all this and to buy Activision and Blizzard. It's hard to really think of what that actually means.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it really mixes up my feelings considering how like kind of evil the ownership of Activision felt like. Outside looking in, like they just felt like the board and Bobby Kotick were just evil fuckers, and like I'm glad that I don't have to compromise my morals to play the video games I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you guys could buy a studio, which one would you buy?
Nintendo.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Nintendo. Maybe you know what? Maybe Nintendo are playing the long game, right? Everyone's always like, "Oh, Nintendo, they don't even care about games. They don't even care about this stuff. They're letting everyone else buy everything up, just like how they let Thanos go and gather all the stuff, right? And then they're going to come in and just like save the day and just buy everything. Like now, the Nintendo Entertainment System has everything."
Oh, they're going to make it an easy transaction.
Their next console, their NES.
Yeah, they're waiting for Microsoft to buy everything, so then they could just buy Microsoft, and they'd be like, "Thanks for doing all the work for us."
That's the long game.
Yeah, and then they're gonna
switch it up.
They're gonna get rid of all really nice hardware and just make us live on 10-year-old technology from then on out.
Yeah. They're gonna teach you to appreciate gameplay and not these sparkly graphics.
Yeah, screw those sparkly graphics. Who needs 120 FPS?
Exactly.
Not me. I mean, I kind of do actually. I really like 120 FPS.
You want?
I like that.
You want 4K 120 VR experience? No, you don't.
I do.
I like a little 720p with 30 FPS, please.
Yeah, you want an old school Pokemon experience. That's what you want.
What I want.
Yeah,
I was like to buy Konami because Konami, like, it's got so many of those IPs that are locked up in hell. Like, because now all they make is like pachinko and shit, like they don't make video games anymore. It'd be wonderful if somebody came around and said, you know what, we'll just buy all these IPs from Konami and we'll start making video games. Like, you like Castlevania? We like Castlevania. You like Metal Gear? We like Metal Gear. Like, we guess Contra? Hell yeah.
I'll buy Ravensworth then, so I can then get them to make more Broken Sword games. That'd be good.
Broken Sword was great.
So good.
Broken Sword was amazing. Probably go Team Ninja, 1, because they're amazing. 2, because they can reboot the whole Tenchu saga of video games.
Tenchu is part of Activision. They're listed as one of the.
Well, Microsoft, get on it, baby.
That's one of the IPs. The legacy games. I think it's like split between 2 IPs, so you can make new ones, but the legacy ones are tied up with Activision.
That does.
They got Pitfall. It'd be fun.
Pitfall was
my
first game.
Yeah.
Atari, right?
I like Pitfall.
It'd be funny. Like, imagine like a Pitfall Harry game, a new Pitfall Harry game that was kind of like in the Uncharted kind of style. That could be good.
Yeah. If you kind of think of it, Uncharted is Pitfall.
Kinda. Tomb Raider.
You know? Yeah, Tomb Raider.
Indiana Jones. It's all the same.
It's very similar.
Milieu. I don't know. I'm half excited about this and half trepidatious about it. Also, Microsoft. Phil Spencer seems to know all the right words to say.
He does.
But Microsoft has not traditionally been the greatest steward of companies that they bought. Skype.
Yeah, there's obviously concerns for sure, and who knows? Who knows how things are going to look right now? If Phil Spencer was suddenly going to leave the company, then I'd be like, oh crap, who's going to come in and screw all this up? But with him as the helm, it seems golden right now. But until he eventually retires, I don't know how long or what that might look like in the future.
Or he ascends.
Yeah, ascends, you know? He's almost got like a Steve Jobs-esque type of thing going on with like shepherding the right future and direction ever since taking over from the original Xbox One stuff. So,
well, it was so bad. The Don Matrick years were so bad for Microsoft or for the Xbox.
They'd fallen from such a high point into like that. So
yeah, amazingly quickly too. Like just like off a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it is tough to say whether or not this is good or bad. It's probably a mix, honestly. The reality is it's probably a mix of there's good things and bad things that can come out of it.
We still haven't seen the results of the Bethesda buyout yet, really. I mean, those games haven't come out yet.
Yeah. I guess it's a marker of what's happening in the industry right now. It's definitely shaping or changing, shifting from where it's been in the past. And it's maturing into something that's more, it's been going more and more and more mainstream until recently. It's extremely mainstream with all streaming and everything. So I think there's big shifts that are happening with that in mind of what media is going to look like in the next few years or next decade, really. Unreal Engine having movie-grade assets in the game. Like, unreal.
Unreal.
True.
Yeah, things are going to change. That's for sure.
Yeah. I've been playing some games. You guys been playing some games?
Yeah.
I played some games.
I played a new game.
Check this game out. I'm not sure I haven't talked about this. Have I talked about Cruise and Blast yet on the podcast?
I don't think so. No.
Don't think so.
Okay, so this is like a spiritual successor to like the Cruising USA, Cruising Europe, kind of those old Nintendo games. It's on the Switch. And oh my God, it is like the arcadiest of arcade racers. It's the perfect game to just like throw in and like, I'll just give you for instance of what one of the tracks offers, right? Imagine you're in a Ferrari, you're cruising around, you're going as fast as you can. There's a brake button, but I don't even think there is a brake button actually. Now that I think about it, there might not be a brake button in this racing game. You're picking up nitros, you're tires are on fire behind you. Absolute like mayhem, neon glows around you. A dinosaur tries to step on you, breaks the street in front of you, so you fall through the crust of the earth into the forgotten world with the rest of the dinosaurs. But just keep racing because this is a racing game. God damn it!
Yeah.
This is what this is. It's on a track. There are no turns. I mean, there's turns on the track, but there's no like branching tracks. There's a couple of shortcuts that you can find. But I mean, this is a straight ahead, like old school arcade racer, and it's fucking fun, man. It is a lot of fun.
Nice.
I was looking at the screenshots. It looks. I saw one of the screenshots is just like a helicopter just flying in, just shooting down the track and stuff. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This looks wild.
Yeah. It's wicked cool. I highly recommend it. Like, I mean, it's not Forza. It's not Gran Turismo. It's not a simulation. This is a like have a couple, get a little tipsy and throw this on the Switch and have a good time with it.
It's a racing game then. Ah, excellent news.
What was the name of it again? Cruisin' what?
Cruisin' Blast. Cruisin' spelt with an apostrophe N, not I-N.
And it's on the Switch?
Cruisin'.
Yeah, it's on the Switch. Wow. It's a good time. Obviously it's got really like crazy graphics, and it's on somewhat low powered hardware, so there's a little bit of slowdown on occasion. But I think it looks really good for a Switch game, honestly.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been playing Monster Hunter Rise on PC.
On PC?
How's that been?
It's really good. Yeah, it's super smooth. Everything feels just as you would expect, but a little bit better because it's higher FPS and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Does it max out at 60 or does it go unlimited?
I don't know actually.
Okay.
It maxed out at 60 for me.
Yeah?
It might be that it maxes out at 60.
Yeah. I had a weird thing happen for me that it wouldn't go 4K. I have a 4-monitor setup though. It wouldn't go 4K and it wouldn't invert my Wirebug camera, even though I inverted everything else.
Right.
And I was like, what the crap, man?
Maybe that's because you shouldn't have inverted aim.
Rewire that brain of yours. That's what you should do.
Unacceptable. No. Inverted. No.
Go into the menu of your brain and flip those controls instead of flipping game controls.
Well, you see, if the game allowed it, right, but it didn't, so maybe it is you who must do the rewiring.
So it says like camera controls, invert the Y-axis. I'm like, okay, cool, inverted the Y-axis, and then I'm like, wait a minute, why is the Wirebug like inverted or not correct? It's still normal, and I don't know if I missed the setting because there's a lot of settings in there, but I combed through them as much as I could, and then gave up on it.
This one's going to be updated in parity with the Switch version, right? Not like World was. So
yeah.
But you couldn't bring your save over from the Switch, could you?
No, unfortunately not. They at least looked into it this time before letting us know that it's not possible. Yeah. So hopefully one day they'll start creating Monster Hunter games knowing that they want to have cross save at least.
That'd be nice.
But
not yet.
Steam Deck, you can play probably. Is it on Steam?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Steam.
Okay, so does it? I assume it supports Steam save, so you could at least play portably on the Steam Deck, right?
Yeah.
I hope so, because that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Boy,
but
that'd be looking at your Switch, or your Switch is looking at the Steam Deck while you play.
Yeah, I'm just like,
you're like,
why'd you leave all your hundreds of hours over here? You're doing the exact same thing.
And then you're like, oh, my bad. Let me just play Monster Hunter World now instead. Oh, man.
I was watching some videos on the Steam Deck comparing it to the IO Neo, I think, which is another like a portable handheld PC.
Okay.
Right. Same kind of form factor as the Steam Deck, but another company's making it. Also costs about twice as much. But it was looking favorable. There's not a whole lot of hands-on impressions. There's not a whole lot of numbers of like Steam Deck stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. They say it's coming out next month, next month.
Get ready, Watts.
Shipping.
I will believe it when I see it.
We are going to harass you with questions.
They were like,
yeah.
does it play this? Buy it for me. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that, though. Oh, man. Because so we know February's coming up, and February's crazy. And I've been getting a lot of emails from indie games of like, our game's coming out February 15th. Our game's coming out February this, February that, March that. And I'm just like,
wrong.
But at least with the Steam Deck, I could play your game in my downtime while I'm resting my back from sitting at my desk for 15 hours a day.
Yeah. Or you could just continue to play Elden Ring or...
Oh, man. If I can grind like my levels in Elden Ring before I go to bed, that would be amazing.
Oh, my gosh.
So, I'll come back to stream. People are like, why are you like 100 levels higher than you were last night?
Steam Deck.
Don't know. Was in bed. Was killing mans over and over again. Now I'm rich.
Do we know if Destiny is going to be playable on the Steam Deck?
So the problem with the Steam Deck and a lot of multiplayer games is that they have like anti-cheat and all that stuff, and it gets a little complicated on the OS. But you can install Windows on the Steam Deck, and then you can play a lot of the other things.
Yeah,
but
I'm hoping there's a fix
not
for
right
it.
out the box.
They said they were looking into it, right? Of how to get around.
Yeah, I think so.
Not get around, but like fix those anti-cheat flags that show up in there. So hopefully,
yeah.
I've been playing a game on the Game Pass. Surprise, surprise. It's called Nobody Saves the World. I'm pretty sure it's called that.
Oh, yes.
I've heard about that. Okay. Yeah.
This game is awesome.
I've heard it's awesome.
It's okay. First off,
the guys who made Guacamelee,
let's give us the intro.
Yeah. So have you ever played Guacamelee, and did you enjoy it? If you enjoyed it,
I completed Guacamelee 1 and 2, and I really enjoyed it.
So it's not Guacamelee. It's different. It's more like, actually, it could quite possibly be better, because you think about Zelda, a top-down Zelda made by the Guacamelee people with the same flavor and style and all that, you know? And there you go. You got Nobody Saves the World. Yeah, it's great. It's like you start out as you start out as a nobody who is just, you look like a drawn character that with not very many features, basically.
Like a pale white nude dude.
Yeah, pale white nude dude. It's like nondescript figure. And everyone else is like
nobody.
You know, yeah, you're a nobody. And then you immediately unlock different forms that you can become. And these different forms are like like a magician, or you start as a rat. You get access to the rat, and the rat gives you a little bit faster speed, and you can shrink down and go into smaller places. And so these different forms give you access to different things. And then it also further unlocks to where you get access to the different forms attacks in the other forms. So you can start making these builds. So these passives unlock, and then these attacks unlock when you level up the forms, because each one has an XP system to it. Then you start leveling up, which at first I thought was going to be too much, but ultimately ended up being really cool to actually go to a different form, knock out a couple bounties, and then like level up the character and unlock more things for the form that the character has. Yeah, really, really cool, because it's like a different pitch of like a top-down Zelda mixed in with these different forms and builds that you do, and it's got that Guacamelee flavor to it with the characters and comedy and like the animation and writing. So I've really been enjoying it. I think it's
I was
awesome.
pretty sold as soon as I saw a horse whip out a bow.
Yes.
Just start going boop, 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 with his little feet.
Yeah, the horse is fantastic because it's like the fastest character. So anytime you want to get somewhere quick, he like switched to horse mode, and then the horse has like a horse bash where it's like bashing through like like a gallop trample type of thing. So then you can add that to your other characters. You can take the horse's bash and then add it to like a turtle. So the turtle's bashing through.
That's amazing.
Then there's a lot of characters to unlock. Like, I think there's like 15 or something like that. It's a lot.
I've just seen there's one that's like a meaty bodybuilder guy just walking around with like giant muscles. And I'm like, well, now you've sold me. There's a gym guy.
Yeah, the gym bro, the bodybuilder, he's got his move is literally called the bench press. You're bench pressing people.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then my favorite actually is the slug right now, which I was surprised because I was like, slug. Well, what am I going to do with a slug? This isn't going to be good.
You walk to a party and you say, what's your main? I'm a slug. People look at you funny.
But I did a build where I'm gaining health from crits with, and the slug has a higher crit rate and also has a lot of attacks that happen because it like spits and then slows down enemies because it's a slug.
Spitter.
Yeah, it's a slow moving form, but it like it slows some of the he's a spitter and slows down some of the enemies. So you do you combine that with crit healing, and suddenly you're like healing and taking damage and doing all and slowing down the enemies from getting you. So it's actually been really good. Yeah, I really enjoy this game. I think it's awesome. And it's on Games.
I watched Skillup's review of it, and he said, like, please don't skip out on this game.
Yeah.
It is and then he did mention that the early part wasn't gripping him as much the first, I think, 3 hours or so.
Okay.
But then after that, it was just like, this game is like a master class of having a bunch of different classes together and switching between them. And
it's amazing. It really is. And it's quick to
How Zelda is
hold
it? Is it like? Is there an overworld? Is there dungeons? Like, is there a
Yes.
quest? Like, what's it like?
So you have the overworld, and there's different zones of the overworld, and then you have like your main quest to go to these to go collect the pieces of the gem or the diamond or whatever, and then there's also mini dungeons that you find, and they are generated, the dungeons. So I know, Briar, you're not a fan of those generated dungeons. So that's 1 point. 1 point getting docked from the game for Briar. But it's not. It's like if you want to farm the dungeon, you get for XP, you can go in and refarm it, and it changes, and it'll repopulate the characters and all that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like a straight up copy of Zelda by any means, but in the sense that you're unlocking these different forms that give you access to different abilities, to then get to different areas. Like for instance, if you don't have a character that can go through water, then you don't have access to the water areas yet. But as soon as you unlock the turtle, then you can swim through the water and get access to different sides and all that. So yeah, really cool. I think it's awesome. I'm like level 23 or something like that, which unlocked a few passives as well. So I'm doing even more builds on it. I know it's super creative. To the Switch? Good question. I don't know. I didn't look because I just saw it on Game Pass and I was like, oh, creators of Guacamelee. I'll play this because I was a big fan of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. And if it is on Switch, that'd be great too. But it does, it's got a lot of graphical flavor to it. So I have a feeling it's in like a 3D engine that might slow down on the Switch because that is like, from, 2013 hardware or something like that.
Yeah, surprisingly,
maybe it'll be good on the Steam Deck then.
It'd be great on the Steam Deck. Phenomenal.
It would be,
yeah.
Porting things to Switch is rough, man, because you see stuff that you think there's not that much going on. Like it could probably work on the Switch, but there's the lighting and the particles. Like you have to take a lot of that away.
And there's a lot of lighting and particles in this game. It's a beautiful looking game, and they do a lot of depth of field tricks with the 2D art. So I'm pretty sure the Switch would struggle with this.
You convinced me. I think I'm going to play some of this tonight.
You got an Xbox?
It's on PC, Game Pass, and Xbox.
I don't know
Game
if
Pass.
it's on PC Game Pass.
I saw it on I did see because when I load up my computer, the Xbox app comes up, and I did see it on there advertised. So
yeah,
I assume that it's there.
It's on Steam as well. I see, but you got to pay for it there.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, until Microsoft buys Steam, and then you don't have to pay for it. Actually, no, that's market. Never mind. I'm crossing my markets here. My bad.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's right there on the PC Game Pass.
Highly recommend.
Nobody saves the world.
It is awesome. It's like
also Death's Door is now on Game Pass, by the way.
Oh yeah. Another fantastic game.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's my favorite part about Game Pass is that it's so easy to check out games that you might have balked at like paying full price for at the store. You're like, it looks cool, but it's not necessarily my thing normally.
Yeah.
Exactly. Game Pass, you're just like, fuck it, I'm downloading, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't like
there's
it,
a lot of games that I'm like, I think I would really like this, but I don't know where they're going with it genre-wise, or if it'll be my thing when I get in there. Game Pass solves all of that.
Yep.
Yeah. I wish I was able to Watts, you convinced me to buy Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Yes.
Which has unbelievably good platforming, is amazing to look at, has this really cool like farming and collection system that is really awesome. But the main character's voice is like nails on a chalkboard, and I've had to stop playing it. Like I can't play it. It literally like shreds my eardrums like somebody's sticking a pencil in my ear.
I didn't notice.
I guess I could just turn off the volume, but you lose some of the fun that way. It is unfucking believable how bad it is.
Is it?
Like
does it have the option of English and Japanese? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't look at that.
Because if there is an option, I would have gone with Japanese, and I didn't notice the character being obnoxious, so it could be the case of maybe put Russian on. If there's Russian, that will probably be good.
She's obnoxious by design, right? She's supposed to be a spoiled brat who's always complaining, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'll look if there's another language in there, or maybe I'll just keep playing it because I really enjoy everything about it except for her voice is like somebody is trying to gouge my brain out through my eyeballs. It's awful.
The rice growing stuff in that game is so much. So I thought it was like, oh, you farm, you're chilling and relaxing, having a good time. But the rice growing is so deep of how to get the right rice and the right length and the right quality and the right amount. It's a lot. It's a realistic rice growing simulator if you want one of those. Learn how to grow your own rice. It is. It's very cool. It's a cool mixture of things.
Switch version comes with a manual in the box too.
Oh, nice.
We do love manuals.
Yeah. Color.
Cool. Was there anything else this week?
I was playing another racing game.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Your IRL Ferrari
this one's
Fridays?
real quick. This one's on PlayStation 4. It came out a couple years ago. It's called Hotshots Racing. And imagine like Outrun from the way back and like Ridge Racer. But it looks like virtual racing in the arcades with just like flat shaded polygons.
Yeah.
It runs at 60 FPS. It's another really arcadey racer. It's all about drifting around corners to build a boost gauge so that you can then, go past your opponents. But it's got a really cool look to it, and it runs really good. I'm playing the PS4 version on a PS5. It's pretty fun, and it's cheap. It's like $20. Thanks, man.
Nice.
Very nice. Well, Elden Ring has gone gold. It's official.
Yes, it has.
They're on the road to release.
What does that even mean anymore? Gold.
I think it means that like
this is the version that's going to go on the disc before we give you the day one patch.
Yeah,
what
at least, Eric, take one.
I was just going to say what it means. Now that there's this on a disc, it means that some of these dodgy retailers can start leaking it. So now people can start playing it, which is annoying.
All right.
Suddenly you'll find it next week on some like random obscure website. They'll be like, we found a copy down the back of a dark alley, and now we've played Elden Ring, and here's all the spoilers. So you need to be careful.
That would be very helpful for me personally, is to get that about a month early.
Yeah.
Well, it means that it's official. They're like, we're releasing the game, so you're unlikely, not impossible, thanks Cyberpunk, to hear about delays after going gold. But generally, they don't happen.
I didn't remember that until you said it. That's good. Good callback.
Cyberpunk.
I feel like Cyberpunk has ruined the gold status.
They have. We need
at
to
this
change
point,
the
it's
name.
like, what does it really mean to go gold?
Elden Ring.
It's also the most wish list Steam game ever of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think
that's not surprising to me.
Well, I think there's this thing that, a lot of people look at Souls games as being kind of niche. And like, they're very popular and they're hugely successful, but they're more niche than like maybe an easier game or a game that appears more accessible to a wider audience. But I think Elden Ring has kind of captured an audience that maybe doesn't normally look at a new FromSoft release because it's open world and because of the magic and the summons and the weapon arts and there's so many things that can help you to tackle
George R.
this
Martin
game.
tie-in.
Yeah, George R. Martin, exactly. They're like, I need to quench my thirst of Game of Thrones and delete season 8. So I'm going to play Elden Ring.
We all know this motherfucker ain't writing any books, so I might as well check out what he's doing in video game.
Yeah. I think that market has just grown too. The interest level and the people. Like I think initially there was kind of like a Dark Souls hesitance. There was a hardcore base, and then there was a hesitance to like a broader audience. But now I feel like that's been broken especially with things like Sekiro and all that. And these more broader tie-ins, people are really excited to play like an open world medieval, Elden Ring. It doesn't say Souls either, so I think some people might be like, how hard is it going to be? They think of this new experience, Elden Ring, I should say.
Yeah.
the Dark Souls experience, I think, has been demystified a little bit over time as well.
Yeah,
it's like
you're right.
People now appreciate it for the good game design that it has, and like what a lot of like early reviews for like Demon Souls and Dark Souls like would talk about like clunky combat, not really like seeing the kind of the deliberateness of it and like the strategy of it. I think that has changed over time. Reviewers now look at it differently, and I think the game public in general thinks of it differently.
Yeah. Does make me think of that Cuphead review though.
I want that Cuphead cartoon to come out. When's that coming out on Netflix?
I don't know. It looked good.
Yeah.
Looked great. Yeah. I think Elden Ring is going to be a massive game. And I think you're totally right about the demystifying. Because it used to be Dark Souls was this game you heard about that you were just walking down a hallway and you just die. The game just killed you just because it felt like it.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of
it does do
figured out. It does do that. But it was really that was kind of all you heard about Dark Souls, kind of from wider media.
It's a video game for masochists.
Yeah.
It's much more than that. It's got unbelievable storytelling in like a really cool way. It's like the graphically, it's funny when I think of Dark Souls graphically, it's not technical graphics that stand out. It's the attention to detail and the care they take around every corner, like every hallway, every street, everything is just so
world building is
designed.
insane.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that in Elden Ring.
Still want a Bloodborne remake, or just a 60 FPS version of Bloodborne.
Maybe they haven't done that.
Fucking 30 FPS version.
Because they're working on a full remake. You know,
Blue Point. I want Blue Point to do it anyway. I don't know. I actually want From Software to do it. I want Blue Point to do it.
From Software are busy making Armored Core 6, so you have to wait.
Yeah, good point. Sekiro, actually, Activision property that just went to Microsoft.
Oh.
If they kind of go back and forth of which publisher they go with, because like Elden Ring is Bandai Namco, and Sekiro was Activision.
Right.
It's whoever they go with
to
bring it to the West. Yeah.
Imagine Super Smash Brothers, but for people above 5 years old, starring all of the Activision, Bethesda, and Microsoft characters. Sekiro, Master Chief. Imagine them all, like all of them in like a badass fighting game.
Fortnite.
Yeah, that's Fortnite.
No, fighting game. Fighting game.
They fight in Fortnite. What are you talking about? Sky fights.
It would be almost as good as Smash Brothers, but the characters don't have the same depth, you see. So unfortunately, it would pale in comparison.
Okay.
That is actually interesting. Thinking about like mashups that they could do with everything being under one umbrella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll have like Halo Kart that comes out, and then you've got like, Crash Bandicoot. Actually, maybe Microsoft can delete Crash Bandicoot because it's just a terrible franchise. Just like throw it in the bin. They'll be like, now that we own Activision, we'll throw this.
You're
guy
a
in the bin.
Crash hater? I never would have suspected.
He loves Jar Jar and hates Crash.
I listen, right? I'm a Banjo-Kazooie guy. The real guy with the blue shorts, not this stinking wannabe who's like, I want to pretend to be Banjo with my rubbish controls in my rubbish game. It's like, I'm sorry, but no, like. Crash Bandicoot has the worst controls. When I went back to play
original
that
Dark
before,
Souls.
I was like, it's the original Dark Souls, but for like terrible controls, it's shocking. I honestly despise it. Delete it from existence.
I don't think I've ever played a Crash Bandicoot game. Like it.
Really? Didn't play the remake?
You haven't missed anything.
I played the original.
Oh no, I did. You remember in Uncharted 4, you have to play against Nathan's wife?
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
Like
that's the only Crash Bandicoot
time I've ever interacted with Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I owned it on the PlayStation. OG. Played all the way through. I played through I never played the sequels, but I ended up playing those on the trilogy re-release that they did or whatever. The remaster.
Yeah.
Wait,
I saw a lot of people having a tough time with that game on stream.
I forgot how difficult it was. How precise you had to be. And yeah, I feel like as a kid, I was like, cool, I got to be super precise. That's fine. Let's do this. As an adult,
and as
I'm
adults,
like,
we're like,
Banjo
how
Activision?
dare you?
yeah.
No,
Is Banjo Activision?
No, that's rare. It's still Microsoft though.
That's rare.
Still,
It's still Microsoft. Sea of Thieves, guys. That's their thing now. Well,
They got another property coming soon, I think. They got another game coming soon.
Rare? Oh, I think they do. I forgot what it is though.
Oh, Everworld.
I actually just ordered Rare Replay because I wanted to play Perfect Dark again. Because I hate myself.
I never played Perfect Dark.
It's a great game.
That's an interesting take.
It was a fantastic game. It was great. Had a little Elvis, little alien companion running alongside you. Multiplayer was fantastic. The gun that shot through walls, perfect.
Craig
did we just lose?
Hi, Craig.
Craig?
Oh,
Craig
there
just died.
goes the recording. How
He
good
just said no.
I guess we should just wrap it up.
I mean, we're at the end of the show anyway.
Yeah.
It is the end of the show. Yeah.
Wrap it up with cameras all messed up. That's DCP SideQuest, episode number 125. Thanks for
Craig
watching.
abandoned us. Episode of Craig abandonment.
Yeah, Craig left.
Yeah.
He said, I'm done with these recordings. Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs. And also shout out to everyone who purchased a shirt. It's been sending some stuff on Twitter. It's really cool to see you guys grabbing that.
Yay.
Yeah. And if you want to, where is it? It is, if you want to check out the shirt, merch.streamelements.com/DCP_live for various shirt options that you could purchase. And yeah, that's the show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week for more SideQuest and DCP Live later in the week. Also, is Retro Slot happening this week?
Yeah, tomorrow night. I guess we'll be talking about Phantasy Star for the Master System. I've been playing it for about a week now, and I gotta say, I'm really impressed by that game. I had never seen anything but screenshots.
Yep. Remember my brother playing it, watching him playing it a lot. Yeah. I think Firing Range is happening.
I'm playing the Switch version, actually. There's a Switch version that they put like a map on the side of the screen because it's 4x3. So they just move the play field over and they put like a map and like some much needed like information on the right side of the screen, so it's not just black. And they lowered the encounter rate because it's like one of those random encounter games. And they raised the amount of experience that you get and money that you get per encounter. So you can just it's a little bit easier to just breeze through. It's not quite as grindy a game as playing it originally.
Awesome.
It's kind of a nice version.
Cool.
It costs like $4 on Switch.
There you go. Briar's going to be talking about, Briar and Jay Sniperton going to be talking about that on Retro Slot tomorrow. And also Firing Range, I believe, is happening this week as well. There you go.
There you go. And next week we'll see you for the final day of January.
Final January.
We should all dress up as like end of the world characters or something. Like this is our final moments before insanity.
This is that outfit. I dressed in it every day because I'm ready.
All right, that's the episode. Bye, everyone. Have a fantastic week.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.